We have with us then Aadit Palicha, who is the co-founder and CEO at Zepto. Aadit, congratulations on becoming the first unicorn of the year 2023. What exactly does that feel like? $1.4 billion valuation.
It feels definitely feels good. We're grateful to be here. We think sort of the unicorn status and a little bit of that the sort of valuation today. It's not really a meaningful. It's not really a meaningful long-term metric. What really matters is your valuation in 2033. So for us right now, this whole unicorn ABC thing it's a little bit of vanity. We just want to get back to work and execute heads down. And yeah, what we really focus on is sort of the long-term value creation that we implement, right? Can we build a 5, 10, 20 times larger company or more by 2033? That's the idea.
So walk us through the latest round of the fundraise, $200 million, and I understand that was led by StepStone Group. Walk us through the details.
The fundraise was 200 million at a 1.4 billion dollar valuation. Like you pointed out, it was led by the StepStone Group. StepStone Group is a institutional asset manager based out of Baltimore. So they led the round. We also had Goodwater Capital, which is a new investor. That's a consumer internet venture capital firm based out of California. They added to the round as well. So we brought on board two pretty exciting new investors that we think are going to be great long-term partners and are high quality and detail oriented. And yeah, and all our major internal investors doubled down, including Nexus Venture Partners, Gladebrook, Lockheed. So yeah, we're feeling quite good. Those are the broad contours of the round.
So actually the company, Aadit, started off as Kirana Cart. Why did you have a change in name? I'm curious to know. And I understand that you guys deliver these grocery products in 10 minutes. So how exactly did the pandemic give you that accelerated push?
We actually, we started obviously building on Zepto only about 2 years ago. Before that, we experimented with multiple models until we found deep product market fit. And the dark store model, where we were delivering incredibly quickly with end-to-end control of the customer experience, on assortment, on quality control, that actually had the deepest amount of product market fit. So it took us some time to perfect, but when we perfected it, that's when we realized, okay, this rapid delivery through dark stores, customers are really responding pretty tremendously to that model, and that's when we decided to change the name to Zepto. And why Zepto? Well, Zepto is the shortest unit of measurable time in physics. It's 10 to the power minus 21 seconds. So yeah, that's why we thought Zepto sort of connotated speed, and that was one of the core value propositions.
So that's pretty interesting. I did not know that. And how exactly do you manage to deliver in under 10 minutes?
Yeah, look, it's a combination of operational and technical excellence. And we have these sort of mini hubs or delivery hubs or dark stores, like you call them, or what we also internally call them is delivery hubs, where we have our delivery partners stationed. They pick up orders, they end up delivering incredibly quickly. And how that's possible is because the positioning of the delivery hub is such that we put them in these dense areas in residential dense areas where the distance per deliveries are pretty short. So for us, the average distance per delivery is only about in that 1.5 to 2 kilometers per order, and that makes it quite easy to deliver in 10 minutes or so. And plus, the whole packing, bagging, and dispatching time takes between 60 to 90 seconds, right? And so when we do that entire pick, pack, and dispatch process in 60 to 90 seconds, again, because there's a lot of software that we've put in place to streamline those processes, like for example, the software that navigates packers to the most ideal path in the dark store, or let's say some of the automation that we've done between a packer and a delivery partner. That's when an order is transferred, there's a lot of operational excellence there and software excellence there. And so there's a fast pick, pack, and dispatch time, and then the distance for each delivery is pretty low. That lets us actually get deliveries done in about 10 minutes.
No, yes, I get that point, but it's also these dark stores have been criticized with respect to the high cash burn, the lack of sustainability in the business model. But I understand that for Zepto, these dark stores are fully EBITDA positive. So tell us a little bit about how you managed to reduce your cash burn.
Yeah, absolutely. we've basically grown the business 300% year on year, and we've been able to reduce our burn in absolute terms at the same time. So our burn has come down, by a pretty meaningful margin, by, well over half of what it was a year ago, and the business is 300% larger. And so with that kind of scale and with that kind of burn reduction, at the same time, we're now in this position where, like you correctly pointed out, most of our dark stores are generating cash on a fully loaded basis. And the way that we're trending right now, we should probably hit fully EBITDA positive in 12 to 15 months across the entire company. But yeah, so most of our dark stores and markets are profitable. And we're aiming to get the full business to profitability in 12 to 15 months or so.
Right, and more importantly, you've also spoken about growth projection numbers, the fact that you're going to continue to remain profitable, grow very rapidly. You're looking to achieve close to $1 billion in annualized sales in the next coming quarters. Are you confident of reaching those targets?
Yeah, we're on track. Absolutely. I mean, we probably hit $1 billion in annualized sales in the next few quarters. That's the way that we're trending, and I think most people are starting to realize that this business might be much bigger than was initially thought. So we're feeling quite excited about it. We're on track to hit $1 billion.
Now, there is no doubt that at the same time, there's a lot of competition. You've got Dunzo backed by Reliance Industries, Swiggy Instamart, Blinkit that's backed by Zomato. So how do you plan to really stand out? What's the game plan amidst this very competitive environment?
Yeah, I mean, look, for us, I think the thought process on competition, we look at this business, it's an incredibly difficult business to perfect, right? And it's very difficult to crack the economic model, and it's very difficult to crack the customer experience at scale, and do both of those simultaneously with a strong, with a strong P&L, right? You crack the store economics, you crack your customer experience, you do it at scale, and like the operating mechanics of doing all three of those right at the same time, it's difficult. But the beauty of it is, if you crack it and if your execution is best in class, you're going to be in this position where you're going to be in this position where you build a pretty large business. I think the opportunity of this business is massive. And so when we look at our competition, I think we see a very simple philosophy where we say, hey, if we execute well, build our business well, do it with the right economics, do it with the right customer experience, and continue to grow, we're going to build a great business. And if our competitors execute well, they'll build a great business too. And if they don't execute well, they won't build a great business. Same is true for us. If we don't execute well, we won't build a great or large business, right? Because the business is fairly tough. So we don't really spend too much time on competition. We're mainly just focused on, how we're executing internally. And the idea is to keep our heads down, and just get done what we need to get done. I think like in terms of all the parameters that would make it likely that this company becomes a very large business, competition is not one of the big determinants of whether this would be a $30 billion business or not. There are so many more things that are more consequential that is in our hands that we need to execute to be able to get to that level. So competition really isn't top of mind. I think it's just more about executing well, and if you execute well, you'll end up building a good business overall.
And Aadit, I also understand that you guys are looking for an IPO plan over the next 2 to 3 years. Walk us through the timeline and what's the game plan for your public listing?
Yeah, the idea is to get to profitability in 12 to 15 months. So get the entire business to EBITDA positive and continue to grow. So 1 billion plus in sales, EBITDA positive in 12 to 15 months. And then 3 quarters after that, we would hope to go public. That's the idea. So early 2025 is when we would want to go public.
And so it's pretty interesting. I don't know if many people know, but y'all are Stanford University dropouts. So how exactly did the idea come about? Was there an aha moment, and how did you reach here?
Yeah, look, I think there was no real one single aha moment. For us, we were, sitting in Bombay in the first lockdown, after, not being able to study in California because of the because of that global lockdown. Right? So most international students had to come back, and we were sitting in Mumbai, and at the time, most of our neighbors, in and around where we were staying, they were elderly, and so Kevali and I used to deliver groceries for them, and that delivering groceries ourselves eventually sort of slowly scaled up, from a WhatsApp group to our own app that we built out to have that continue to scale as a pickup and drop off service, and then eventually became what we know today as Zepto. And there was no sort of single aha moment where we said, this is the idea, let's run with it. It was actually more so just constantly talking to customers, iterating in small bits every time that we got feedback, and realizing that, okay, these are some of the core mechanics that customers really care about. And when we consolidated everything, it became clear to us that the best way to really deliver what customers were looking for is to, control the customer experience end to end with the dark store model, and do it with rapid delivery times. And if we do both those things, then we'll get some deep product market fit. So that was actually there was no sort of single aha moment. It was more sort of like a year-long process of trying and failing to find product market fit until we ended up finding something.
And you've gone on record to say as well that it's a culture of deep frugality. Worshipping customers has gotten you where you have today, but there's still a lot more for you to achieve. So what's the long-term game plan? What's the trajectory and vision?
Yeah, the long-term game plan is to build out a large, enduring public company that you know will go will go beyond will go way beyond how long Keval and I have here, right? Not just this company, but hopefully, outlast us in life. And so that's the idea, right? Building a large, enduring public business. That's the vision. And we think we've got sort of the market opportunity to do it. We think the way that the business is growing and the way that it's trending on profitability all points to us building what could truly be a generational company. And the idea is, right now get to profitability, go public soon after that, and then from that point onwards, like Amazon says, right, from that point onwards it's day one, and that would be day one for us as well. We would then just start focusing on continue to figure out how we can get to the next frontier of customers and just keep growing the business and do it profitably. That would be the idea. And so hopefully we build a 10, 20, $30 million company or beyond in the next decade or two. That's the idea.
Before I let you go, we've got a startup quickfire round. We want to get to know our founders and co-founders better, and on a lighter side and on a more personal level. So one word that comes to your mind. My first question is, do you have any productivity hacks, anything that keeps you motivated?
I would say productivity hacks, probably meditation. I mean, the most standard productivity hack, like morning meditations are helpful. And if you read a book that's written in first person by like a really thoughtful person, reading a few autobiographies right now, it just tends to instill a lot of clarity. So I do that a lot. I just read a lot of autobiographies, and I find, especially of people that have done incredible things in their lives, and you just get a lot of clarity when you sort of engulf in their voice. So that's one thing that I do.
Okay, meditation it is. And since you spoke about reading, which is the latest book that you've read? Anything that you would recommend?
So recently, I just read Made in America by Sam Walton, or at least I'm in the process of. It's a phenomenal book. It's about the founding story of Walmart, and it's about Sam Walton's life, the founder of Walmart.
And any regrets, Aadit?
I think we could have found this business model and started earlier. Candidly, we did. We started in July of 2021. To your point, had we started it, let's say 6 or 9 months earlier, if we had somehow accelerated the process of finding product market fit and finding this business model, we could have really ridden the wave that was 2020 and COVID, or even more a good part of 2021. Had we started it earlier, I think we could have been an even bigger business than we are today.
So what's the advice to the next gen? For someone looking to start up their own business, become an entrepreneur, what do you have to say?
My advice is usually the same, right? I think for most people that want to build companies, especially people that are young, I think today building companies has started becoming exciting and flashy. And there's a lot of glamour around entrepreneurship and startups. The reality is, if you're building a company for extrinsic motivation, right? Oh, I want to be well known, or I want money, or I want admiration, right? That motivation isn't very enduring. And when things get tough, and trust me, anytime that you start a business, there'll be really tough and destitute times. When things eventually do get tough, the extrinsic motivators start falling apart and it becomes easy to give up.
You're part of the next gen, actually. So take us through what you think is going to be the next big breakthrough in the startup world.
Next breakthrough. I think this category, I would say quick commerce. It's gonna be big.
Okay, and the coolest person that you follow on social media?
Coolest person I follow on social media. I really like Kunal Shah's tweets. I think they're profound.
Yes. Oh, I would tend to agree with that. Good to have you on board. Thanks so much, Aadit, for joining
likewise.
in.
Thank you.